And we will not waste any time before we get to our next guest. It is none other than Creighton head coach Greg McDermott. Mac, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You look relaxed.
Little late for us old guys.
Hey, I was told you picked the time a little bit here. You wanted the late night interview, so I'm impressed you are awake.
No,
I had a good meal tonight. It wasn't the Drover. All right, it was not the Drover, but I'm in Charleston, and my wife and I, it's our second to last dinner here, and we went to Hall's. Big time steak. Big time. Have you not?
Hey, Mac, I got to ask you before we get this going. Are you in a closet? Where are you at? I'm looking at your background here.
I have a condo downtown that when I have late night stuff and I'm going to be watching film all night, it's right across from the arena. So I just I hang here and do a lot of my work and stay out of my wife's hair.
There you go. Got a little man cave action.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Tyler?
Coach, thanks for coming on. Are we going into questions now, or?
We are.
Okay. Hey, Coach, you guys have won 5 straight now, 8 of the last 10. The big picture for you guys, how have you turned it around so quickly?
Well, I think, Tyler, number one, we got Kalkbrenner back. I don't think he was healthy when he was playing in Maui and certainly after Maui, and then we had to shut him down. And then it took him a while to get back in shape. But, he provides so much gravity on the offensive end going to the rim and the pressure, he puts on the rim and what that creates for everybody else. And then defensively, I think he's one of the best rim protectors in the country. And that allows us to take some chances defensively out there and kind of steer everything to him. And to our guys' credit, Tyler, when we were going through that, obviously in this day and age of social media, everybody thought the house was burning down on the outside. And, we just kept working and stayed process oriented, and the guys got better through that tough stretch. And I think that's paying off now.
Hey, Mac, last game, you did not have a single point from your bench against Georgetown. How the hell does that happen? How are you not getting more bench production here? I've been yelling all year, like, we need more bench production from you guys. I'm scared about that down the stretch. How worried are you?
In fairness to our bench, Jeff, we played. I probably played too difficult of a schedule. So you play the 4, bye games, and we struggle with St. Thomas a little bit out the gate, and then the bench got to play some the next 3. Then you go to Maui for 3 tough ones. You come back, you go to Texas, you play Nebraska, then you go to Vegas and play 2 tough ones, and you start conference play. So some of those young guys just didn't really get the opportunity to probably grow as much as you normally would in a more normal non-conference schedule. And they've had their moments. Frederick King has done some good things for us. Mason Miller's come off the bench, does some good things. Francisco Farabello's been rock solid. Even when he isn't scoring, he's in the right place, doing the right things. And then Sharif Mitchell is backing up the point some and giving us some minutes there. So, there's a lot of TV timeouts in this game. And, if those guys think they can go, and, having said all that, I don't think any of our starting 5 are in the top 10 in minutes played in the Big East. So while it looks crazy, we're either, if you're going to play them a bunch in the game, you have to be really careful what you do during the week in practice. And, we've been very careful with how much they're on their feet outside of game night.
Coach, you brought a guy in with a strong nucleus coming back last year. I mean, you guys set the world on fire back half of last year, and then Baylor Shireman comes into town. And it started off great. You go through a little bit of a skid. What have you seen from him during this winning streak and through this portion of Big East play that makes you think, hey, like, this Creighton team's back to where we thought they were going to be?
I think he had to learn to play in our system. He had the ball in his hands a lot at South Dakota State, so he's had to learn to play without the ball and kind of, pick his spots. And we've really encouraged him to, try to get in the paint a little bit more. Go in there and try to make some things happen. You got a big body, you can score in there, you can get to the free throw line a little bit more. And then I think defensively, I think he's learned to play with Kalkbrenner. Like, I can get up, I can press up a little bit, and if I get beat, just don't foul, send it into the big guy and let him clean it up on the backside. So I think there's been a learning curve for him. What's been amazing to me, he can pass it, he can shoot it, he really understands how to play. but the way he has rebounded the basketball, moving up from the Summit League, that was probably the one skill is, will it transfer up a level? And it certainly has. He's got as many double doubles almost as anybody that's ever played for me. I think, Doug and Ryan Hawkins have one more than he has. And, we still got quite a bit of season left. So he's been incredible. He's been really a seamless fit with those other 4 guys.
Greg, this team's a little different than some of your others in terms of shooting the ball from 3. Like, you've had some teams that could drill it. Like, every dude could make threes. This team's more athletic. Obviously Shireman's been awesome as far as shooting the ball from deep. How different has this been for you to coach this group because of that?
I think we're capable shooters, Jeff. We shot 30% from the 3-point line last year. You insert Shireman, whose percentages are very similar to Hawkins, and we're shooting 35% this year. So, Trey Alexander's made a huge jump. Nembhard, especially lately, is really shooting it well. Kaluma made a couple big threes against Xavier last week. Kalkbrenner's going to shoot one every now and again. And, Farabello's probably the guy off the bench that I thought would shoot it a little bit better. And I still think it's there. He shot it well in practice. So I think the threat of the 3-point shot is still opened up the floor for us. And, the reality of it is, if we're going to finish this season off strong, we're going to have to make some shots. And, but fortunately, we're defending well enough in the game at Georgetown where your defense can win you a game when the offense isn't there.
Coach, we've talked several times over the past couple of seasons, point guard play, hit the button for Jeff Goodman, point guard play. You have 2 guys. And I thought the development of Trey Alexander when Nembhard got hurt last year, I thought that really helped him gain some confidence, and it fed some into this season. How nice is it to have both of those guys just to be able to fall back on? I mean, so much ball handling to run your fast paced and the early looks in the offense type of deal.
Yeah, any of those guys can lead the break, and Kaluma's included in that. And then we can use all 3 of them at a ball screen, Alexander, Nembhard, and Shireman. So now, you move the pieces around on who has to tag and where your help is. Because then, Alexander and Shireman, we don't take a lot of mid-range shots, but we're top 5 or 6 in the country in making in the percentage of shots that we make from that distance, because those 2 are so good at it. But, to your point, Trey was terrific last year when R2 went down, and he carried that momentum into the offseason. He worked extremely hard. He added some muscle to his body, and, the 28% 3-point shooter last year, and he's 40% this year. So I think his work speaks for itself. And then, defensively, we generally put him on the other team's toughest player. So Trey's done a lot for us. He's had to adjust to be that defensive stopper, and I think his offense has caught up as he's gotten accustomed to that. But he's been absolutely terrific for us.
And Kalkbrenner, defensively, we talked about his gravity on offense. To have that guy back in the lineup and to have that many athletic guards, you alluded to Trey Alexander. I think Arthur Kaluma's terrific, but now you have a lot of different switchable bodies 1 through 4, and they got to run into the big fella behind you. I think he could be Defensive Player of the Year again if people are willing to take in consideration that he did miss some games. But Big East Defensive Player of the Year, I think it's entirely possible. Wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. And I think opposing coaches understand what he does for our defense. And he's unique in the sense that he's, I'd like to say that I taught him all this stuff, but I didn't. A lot of it, is his innate ability to understand when to leave the floor, to block a shot, when to stay on the floor, when to just body up and make it a difficult shot. And he doesn't foul. I mean, I think last year, one time he got to 4 fouls in 30 some games, which is incredible, as many times as people are coming at him. And he hasn't been to 4 fouls yet this year. So, he does a great job. He's very intellectual with the way he plays. Obviously we ask a lot out of him, but he's really worked to prepare himself for that.
Cleans up a lot of mistakes.
Yes, he does.
All right. Which is more surprising? If I had told you that Marquette would be 10-2 in the league at this point, or Ed Cooley would have Providence at 9-3, which would you be more surprised about if I had said that in the preseason?
I was talking to Cooley this morning, and he said he was going recruiting. I'm like, recruiting? What are you going recruiting for? You're just going to bring eight more transfers. And
Yes.
roll it back. So why are you going recruiting? You got a week between games. I mean, sit by your pool, do whatever you're going to do. You know, I'm not surprised what Ed has done. You know, he did it last year with a group that was relatively new, and he's really pushed all the right buttons with this group. You know, when you see where they were in November and where they are now, it's been incredible. But I think what Shock has done with what they lost, you know, I don't know that anybody saw this coming, but obviously they're playing great on both ends of the floor. I just got done rewatching their Villanova game from yesterday, and you know, nobody forces Villanova into 18 turnovers. And you know, they're very active defensively in the quarter court. It gives you some different looks, and then you know, Tyler Koenig's having an MVP type of a year. He, you know, last year you tried to make him a scorer and take away his ability to pass, and you know, now this year he's really added the 3-point shot and the ability to score. And as soon as you leave your feet and make a mistake, he's going to make you pay for with the pass. So I probably would say what the job that Shock has done has probably, you know, been one of the best in the league.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate you joining us here on After Dark. Go back to your dungeon or wherever you are and continue watching tape. We're glad we gave you a little bit of a hiatus from that.
Great to catch up, guys.
You too. There he is. Creighton head coach Greg McDermott. Blue Jays back on track now.